Hey everybody, welcome back to the basement. Welcome back to the channel. It is time for our year in review. 2024 is over and we should celebrate it and go back and take a look at some of the highlights from this year, talk about what's coming up, talk about where we were, where we've gotten to. We're doing it all right here on Chris's Trains and Things. Let's go. All right, so let's go back a little bit. 2024 was a busy year. I didn't create nearly as many videos as I did in 2023, where I was averaging almost 2 a week. I still produced about 45 videos, full-length videos this year, and I'm pretty proud of that. You know, organic growth takes time. We're sitting right now, we started the year at about 11,000 subscribers, and right now we're at about 13,500 or so. So we only made about 2,500 subscribers this year, but guess what? True organic channel growth takes time. I've been at this for a long time. I'm really excited that we're at the sub growth that we're at. You know, 13,500 is a great amount of subs. It's a lot more than other people have. And so I'm proud of the work that I've done to get there. Would I love to see 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 subscribers? Of course I would. That would be fantastic. But, you know, that's not the true measure, I think, of the success of a channel. You know, like I said, that organic growth is going to take time. There's been a lot of chatter about purchasing subscribers and things like that to make your channel, you know, look as though it's really successful. But the real metric is the views you're getting per video. And so if you see someone with tons of subs and really small video viewers, the amount of viewers per video, that's suspicious, right? And so you know, my viewer rate is slowly increasing as my subs increase. So that organic growth is really, really positive. And looking at the amount of views that we've gotten for the year, that's a great metric. So about 577,000 views across the channel this year is something to celebrate. And I want to thank all of you for taking the time out of your days to watch my videos, watch the shorts, comment, like the videos, and help promote the channel so that it can continue to grow and hopefully help reach more people, to get people interested in the hobby. And the goal of this channel is always to entertain, but also educate and help people out that are trying to try new things. And so let's go ahead and take a look back at some of the highlights of 2024, some of the changes, some of the things that we talked about here on the channel together. Now, one of the big things that we started this year was our viewer mail segment. So that has ebbed and flowed a little bit because I don't get a whole lot of viewer mail that comes in from my CTATViewerMail@gmail.com account. And that's okay. I thought it would be a fun thing to do, and every once in a while we'll get some feedback from folks that want to share a video or pictures of their own layouts or ask some questions, and that creates some great dialogue. So that's been really, really fun. But looking at some of the content that we've created otherwise, I can't do this without first starting by thanking some good friends of mine that have really helped support the channel and help provide us with models to review, because I can't buy them all. That's impossible. I don't make enough money in my career to do that, as well as pay my bills. But there's so many great people in this hobby that just make it a ton of fun. It's been another great year of working with the TCA. Stu from Metka and the TCA. Stu's a great friend of mine, friend of the channel, and is always willing to help loan some things out. And you know, we can help promote some of the Metka products and TCA products and help promote just the TCA. And I was able to work with them on an endowment fund video that got emailed out to all TCA members. And so that's been, like I said, it's been a lot of fun. Stu's a great guy. And so it's been great working with him again. And then as we worked through the year, we worked with some more TCA folks for the big TCA event. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. To my friend Chris and my friend John from the Lower Susquehanna Valley Modular Club, you guys rock. Without the two of you helping to loan out engines from your own collection here, sometimes even coming straight from the hobby shop before you've even opened the box and dropping them off here on a Friday night, that has been, I'm so incredibly grateful for that. That allows us to share those engines with the rest of the viewers out there. And it helps, you know, drive more people to the channel, which I greatly appreciate, right? You don't get a whole lot of benefit from that, short of me saying my buddy John or my buddy Chris. But I do greatly appreciate both of you and your friendship and your willingness to help loan some things out. And, you know, just your continued support of the club as well. You know, we obviously I've worked with some folks at different hobby shops. So, you know, I got to thank Ken Jr. from Train World. He's been a good friend and has always helped out to promote the hobby in the right way. And so I always appreciate his partnership and collaboration. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the partnership with Train World. I got my Train World shirt on today. But we also check out and support other hobby shops as well. Landon from Berkshire Station. We'll head down to Nicholas Smith and work with Dave down there. And so there's always some folks here and there that we're going to be working with. And I greatly appreciate the connections that I've made through this hobby. And it's really helped make 2024 another great year. And I can't, I look forward to where we're going to go in 2025. But we're not there yet. Let's focus on 2020. I have to thank my buddy Eric, Eric Trayman. He's helped me out this year by loaning some engines out. And, my buddy Tony from the Rambles. Tony is one of the most genuine kind people that I've met. He, whenever we're talking about an upcoming video, he's always like, I have an engine that's going to make that even better, or cars that are going to make that even better. And he'll take time out of his day to come drop those things off. And Tony, just thank you so much, man, for just helping out in things like that. There's so many other people that have loaned some engines out this year and just been sounding boards again. Obviously, my buddy Jason, RJ, Chris, that are usually my normal sounding boards when producing content. Thank you guys. It helped me get through another year in this crazy world of model railroading on YouTube. It is challenging, but it is a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and get into it. We really started off the year with a hobby shop hop. I got to go visit Neely's again. I think we went to Schaefer's Full Steam Ahead out in Altoona as well. So that was a lot of fun. And then we jumped right into some scenery work by adding the trailer park scene on the top of the layout. So that was really fun. So we took that pop-up that I had that was just kind of blank grass, and we added the trailer park scene with some Woodland Scenics things. I also scratch built the treehouse that's up there. And everything on that pop-up is actually screwed down so I can pick that thing up and turn it over, so I can get up and work up there and nothing falls off, which is really, really great. That was a really fun project to work on and bring to all of you. Then we get into some engines. We got to pick up from Trains. We got the Black Bonnet from that. I think that was a Patch Trains custom run. And it's a 1 of 25 engine, which is really, really cool. And so that's been a lot of fun. And Trains has been a great partner here on the channel, loaning some things out to us as well. This was not a loaner. This was one that I had to pick up myself because it's such a cool little engine. Little engine, but a great model, 1 of 25, and that was a lot of fun to run. And then my buddy Eric was here. He swung by and he dropped off, actually I think he shipped them to me, his SD70Ms from Atlas. These were Atlas Premier engines that had just been delivered, and they were the Vermont Railway scheme, 2 of them. And these really got me hooked on these Atlas Premier diesels. I think these were some of the first earlier ones that got delivered finally, and they rocked. And so that is a little, tidbit for what's to come down the road here in our review. Moving on, February, we got to check out some cab forward. So I had the daylight version cab forward, and then we also checked out I think it was like the Northern Pacific scheme, the white boiler with the red roof. That was my buddy Chris's. So those 2 cab forwards running together was a really cool thing to see. So that was great. Change that took place in the basement is we added a bunch of LED wafer lights down here that really help brighten up the space. In fact, where I'm sitting here, I would normally have a big ring light to help give me some decent lighting, because without these lights, it was so dark and dim. We had lots of shadows on the layout. Just wasn't all that great. So I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 wafer lights we had added here to the basement. And boy, I'm glad I did it. I wish I would have done it earlier. It really completely changed the way that the space looks down here. And yeah, it's just fantastic to have. So that was a really big addition, and that's something that I need to have done before the summer, and we'll talk about why in just a minute or two here. But the continuing to move on, Volume 1 came out in January, and Lionel announced some great product, but they also announced the Hiawatha. Well, that's drove up excitement on the Hiawatha, so I was able to borrow the MTH version from my buddy Chris as well as a bunch of passenger cars. And that was a really great model. It was a ton of fun to run and have on the layout. Such a cool, unique model. And really got me hooked on that. I actually almost didn't give it back to him. Now the Lionel ones are getting delivered. My buddy Art from Arch Model Trains, he just did a great review on that. So I think the only thing that I've seen so far that is messed up is the Mars light is not red on the engine like it should be. And I think the Mars and headlights are swapped. I'm not totally positive about that, but the details look fantastic. The aluminum passenger cars look great. And so the Hiawatha from Lionel is now officially here as well, but a great engine. Atlas then delivered their ES44s and their SD70 ACEs. And like I said, when those SD70Ms came in and my buddy Eric dropped them off, I was kind of hooked. So I picked up both of the Canadian Pacific Heritage units that they had. And then I also grabbed the Ferromex SD70 ACE. So really cool models. Honestly, they're great models. They run awesome. They're a ton of fun to have. I'm not a huge DCS runner, even though I just got the WTIU in. So they've been for sale and they're still for sale. So if you're interested in either of those three engines or all of them, let me know. The Ferromex I think I have for $550, and I think $550 for each of the ES44s. You can find my email in my channel profile if you're interested in purchasing. So an annual highlight. There's always some annual highlights, and one of them, well, I guess two of them, because it happens twice a year, would be York. We had the Spring York show, and I was able to make some roster moves at the Spring York show, things that I wasn't sure I was going to. I ended up trading my Polar Express Acela set to Brady's Trains, and I was able to pick up another Vision Line Big Boy. I picked up 4019 with the elephant ears. It's a really, really cool model, and I'm really happy to have it in my collection. From Berkshire Station, I picked up another Conrail GP30. I had picked up another one from him earlier, from Landon earlier, during when they first arrived. And then at York, I picked up my second one. Another great patch unit. It's actually sitting, both of them, sitting right there on the incline. Really great models. And then at the end of the show, I picked up the 2-pack of 21-inch cars, the add-on pack for my Conrail OCS set. Those are really hard cars to find. That 2-pack's almost impossible to find. And so someone had posted the whole set for sale, and I was the second one in line to buy it. The first person bought it. It happened to be Bob from Bob's Trains for You. I texted Bob, and he brought them over that night to my house and sold them to me. So thanks, Bob, for hooking me up with those great engines. Then in May, Atlas delivered their E8s. Those were some really cool models. Those E units are great. And I picked up the single Penn Central unit, and then I customized it a little bit for my collection. Added a scale Katy coupler on the front of that locomotive. And then I also did some weathering work to it, and we demonstrated and showed that process here on the channel. And I think it turned out really, really well, but that's my taste. I like to weather some of my engines and some things in my collection. And if it's Penn Central, I just feel like it's got to be weathered and rusted and gross, because that's what Penn Central looked like. Now, the big event that I had here this year, York's always a big event because we always have people come over. And so, you know, there's some highlights always of that event. But then it was the TCA show that took place. The TCA National Convention was here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania in June of 2024. And they always do 2 private layout tours that people can sign up and pay money for. They get a box dinner, they get on a big tour bus, and they go to these private layouts. And they do 2 of them. So 2 tour buses, one goes to one layout, the other one goes to the other layout, and then halfway through the night, they switch. And I was honored to be asked by the TCA to be the host of one of those layout tours. So we had 2 tour buses come that night, and it was hot. We were in the middle of a big heat wave. It was over 95 degrees, so went out, rented a big fan for the garage because we weren't sure how many people were going to be here at one time. We didn't want the basement to be too crowded, and so we rotated people through. And I was thrilled. You know, we had to do some quick changes here in the layout, but I couldn't have done it without my buddies from the Lower Susquehanna Valley Modular Railroad Club. Again, Chris, John, Don, Debbie, Ed, all those guys came and really helped lend a hand. Then we had some guys from the TCA were here. Stu from Metka, who's a huge help to the channel. George from the Fort Pitt Division was here as well. And so thank you all for just helping lend a hand and so I could talk with folks during this whole event. It was just a ton of fun. The following month was July, and I headed back out to Detroit for Trainapalooza, another huge highlight of my year is always going out to Trainapalooza. We were able to check out some new layouts out there, some that I've seen before, but got to see some updates on, and then some new ones. And then it's always just fun hanging out. So thank you again, Jason and Shelby, for hosting me for that event. It's always a ton of fun. Let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so we just got to BWI. We got a 2 hours for a flight, hour and a half for a board. So gonna get something to eat and hang out at the airport, and then So we were on the ground in Detroit, but we made a huge mistake by made the assumption that Jason knew he was picking us up, and I don't know if he did. So we're gonna hang out. Wait till he.
Okay, you ready? I'm gonna. If everybody on reset the remotes to 0 or anything. I'm getting mine to 0 right now. Oh wait, that's mom.
I was already mad, but I woke up at 3 o'clock to go see him. He had already revealed the image of his.
So this is the layout of Charlie Stoya, one of the D3R members. So he's got this little logging railroad that
Start all over again. Yeah. I'm going to tunnel out to my shop out back.
Yeah.
John already has the details figured out.
There you go. Just like Russ's house.
Yeah, knock out the patio area and put it kind of straight out and come up into the... Unbelievable. I mean, even just to boy.
This is a pretty cool truck here, too.
Yeah, built-in layout sign. That's cool.
I don't even know. Why do I even bother? I said, I'm just going to go sell my stuff when I get home. He's got the plates hanging up. Yes.
Yeah, it would have been probably the diner and the little bar next to it.
To an end, we got into September and the triplexes arrived. That was my big pre-order for the year, the Vision Line triplex. I picked up the Erie version, and then my buddy Chris picked up the Halloween version. We were able to run both of those here. And then later, York, we actually got to run another custom run that was picked up at York by Eric from Eric's Trains, which is pretty cool. But the triplexes were great. Let's go ahead and check out some of those features. Really. So to activate that, put on the train brake, increase your throttle, and then simply let the train brake go. This is a Halloween train. York, I was coming back to host the YouTube social media meet and greet. It kind of fell apart in the springtime. I was unable to host it in the springtime because of some other commitments. And so I was available to host it again this year, and we moved it to Friday. And because I wasn't going to be at the show Saturday, and we had a huge turnout again. There weren't as many kids there, but that was always why we held it on Saturday. I got a lot of pushback for holding it on Saturday because people say there's more people there on Friday, but there's always more kids on Saturday. So that was kind of a bummer that we didn't have as many kids. But leading into it, I was contacted by Joe Grzybowski from Grzybowski's Trains. He and I talked about a vision that he's had for the last couple of years about creating some shirts for that event to help promote the hobby. So we were able to get some other YouTube channels that were going to be at the show. We got some logos put on the shirt. We got the logos for the people that were going to be on the panel on the shirt, and then we sold those shirts, and all the money raised, we were able to get connected with the Choo Choo Barn Foundation. Choo Choo Barn Foundation is owned by or run by the people that own the Choo Choo Barn in Strasburg, Pennsylvania. But the purpose of the foundation is to help spread the love of the hobby, and we were able to raise over $1,000 through the sale of those shirts, and there might still be some available from Grzybowski's Trains. You can go to their store up outside of Scranton, Pennsylvania, and check them out. But that was very generous of the Grzybowski family to do that. I'm honored to have partnered with them and then partnered with the Choo Choo Barn Foundation and continue to work with them on some after-school club curriculum and things like that. It's been a lot of fun. So then York, we always have some people over here at nighttime. Always get to see some great models that people picked up at the show or brought with them because they're just new to their collection. So let's go ahead and check out some of that running video. Getting close to the holidays, so we got to run some Christmas engines. My Polar Express arrived. That was another pre-order from Lionel. And then my buddy Chris picked up the 040. That's been, I think, 2022. I forget. We talked about it in the video. But they had to completely redo the tooling on that locomotive because the old K-line tooling they were using, they were having some issues with, so they just redid the whole tooling. It's a great model. My buddy Chris picked this custom run up from Metka, and Metka sold out of the Halloween and the Christmas versions of these locomotives really, really quickly. They're super cool. I did not pick one up. Kind of regretting not grabbing the Halloween one, but it is what it is. And so able to add the Polar Express back into my collection, and we were able to run that and highlight that a lot. The kids really enjoyed that this year.
The next house is soon, and those children are on the nice list.
And then, we're getting in here to the end of the year. We did another budgeting update video that did well, but my best video of the year was actually the last video that I did, and that was my ceiling layout project. I was working on a project for work, for the office that I'm in, and designed and built a ceiling layout that works with the drop ceiling. And that's been a ton of fun. It's been a highlight at work for the people that are there and the people that are visiting. And I'm glad that it did really well here on the channel as well. And so, as we continue to move on, we're going to hopefully be able to do some more videos like that as we get into the future. But let's do that. Let's talk a little bit about 2025. 2025 is coming. I'm not sure what's going to have in store. I'm going to be pretty busy. I do have a couple things on pre-order. I've got a GG1 on pre-order, the Vision Line GG1. I've got, I think, an Atlas GP38 on pre-order as well. That's going to be from Atlas, and I think that's a Conrail version. I think. And so I'm excited about that guy as well. That's going to be pretty cool. Sub count wise, of course, I'd love to see some massive sub increase, but as I mentioned before, that's not the truest tell of the success of a channel. We're at 577,000 views this year. I'd love to see that number increase a little bit. Even if we get to 600,000 views for 2025, that would be great. But you never know what's in store. My kids are getting older, which means we're busier because they're in a bunch of different sports and things like that. To be completely transparent, over the next couple weeks, I probably won't be as present online. I've got the defense of my dissertation is coming up in the next 6 weeks or so. And so I've been kind of hunkering down and focusing on that and getting prepared for that, which should be it's a big moment for me. I've been working on this since 2021. It's been a long journey for me in this chapter of my educational life. And so I'm ready for that to be done. That'll give me some time back, but it's a big commitment and a lot of work. And so I might be a little absent until the middle of February or so. But once that's done, I'll be sure to let you all know. And then, I am going to the Springfield show in January. So I'm going to take a little break from that work. My family, we're going to go up to visit my sister who lives in Massachusetts. And then we're going to go check out the Springfield show, the Big E show, I guess Amherst show. So I'm excited to see that. I've never actually been there. We're going to go as a family, I think. So just check it out for a couple hours and see what we can see. But I will be sure to record and vlog that as well for all of you. And other than that, we're just going to have to see where the year takes us. I look forward to hanging out with some of my buddies here that you've seen on the channel and have their own channels, and just continuing to let the collection evolve a little bit. Like I said, there's some things for sale. Those Atlas engines. My Alaska set is also for sale. I think I picked that up this year. It's a great set, but some things need to be rotated out for some new things that I'd like to acquire. And that's just the way that this hobby goes. So that's that. So thank you all so much for getting this far in this video. What are some things you're hoping to see in 2025? Leave me a comment. What was one of your favorite things from 2024 that we were able to do here on the channel? And we'll continue to just see where things go. I would love to get some more hobby shop hops in this year. I've done a lot of the local ones, so now it's harder to do the bigger ones because I have to go farther away. But let's just see where the year takes us. So thank you all so much for watching and continuing to support the channel. I couldn't do this without you. Your viewership helps, your support helps, and so thank you all so much for that. And if you're not catching me here, you can catch me on Instagram. You can also catch me through trains.com and Classic Toy Trains magazine. We'll be continuing to produce content for them. And you can continue to support the channel through trains.com. That's trains with a Z. Using code CTAT at checkout always helps us out. So thank you all so much for, again, thank you for your support. Greatly appreciated. And we'll see you next time. Happy New Year, everybody.